Hi everyone, Azriel Knight here, and welcome to day 2 of a fortnight of film, a vlogging marathon where I shoot a different roll of film every single day for 14 days, plus 3 bonus days since I made my stretch goal on Kickstarter. If you didn't know, this is all the result of a generous donation from 58 different people on a Kickstarter campaign I started last month. Yesterday I showed you guys Velvia, but one of the things that I didn't mention because I touched up my photos after is that those were some of the dirtiest negatives I've had in years. And I don't know if that was just the Velvia itself or I didn't clean my scanning bed enough, probably a combination of the two. But I feel like I should have added a photo flow step at the end. And be sure and let me know in the comments below if you add photo flow as a final step to your E6 development. I'd be really curious to know your answers on that. But yeah, it was a nightmare. It looked like I rubbed it in my cat's litter box. It was terrible. That being said, I still think the photos were great. There was one photo that I ended up rescanning in the morning because I found there was a bit of a color cast, and that's the sunrise shot. And I wanted to make sure that one was just right, and I'm really glad I rescanned it because it looks way better in the result that you saw than the original scan that I did. So yesterday on Instagram stories, I asked you guys which medium format, black and white lomography film you wanted to see me shoot with, and by just 53%, you voted for Berlin. Which is really great because I can't pronounce the name of the other one. Again, today I will be shooting with my Pentax 6.7. I've got a 200, a 105, and a 55mm lens. So a decent spectrum of wide to telephoto. Worked out really great for me yesterday, though I only ended up using my 55 and 200. Enough chit chat though, let's get this film loaded. I have to say, I have never shot a fresh roll of lomography film before, which may surprise some of you and may not surprise others. Really beautiful packaging. Gives you an example of what the film looks like. A couple examples. I wonder why it's called Berlin. It's 400 ISO film. And yeah, let's open it up and see what it looks like. Simple silver packaging with a sticker. I guess all the money went to the box. Also very minimalist, which is fine. You know those, some novels, they've got that really soft cover. That's what this feels like. I wish I knew what the paper was called, but yeah, absolutely beautiful packaging. Can't get over that. Okay, I'm going to get this film loaded, and then I'm off to see 2 bridges today. Okay, everyone, I've arrived at my location that I'm going to be shooting at today. I'm keeping it pretty simple today. If you've followed my channel for any length of time, then you know I'm a big fan of bridges. So I decided it would be interesting to shoot one of the newest bridges in Calgary and one of the oldest. As a side note too, I'm going to try and do more abstract shots than the typical bridge shot. So I'm going to be looking around it and looking for those angles. I can't promise that it's going to be totally original, but my aim is to do something more abstract. Now that I'm shooting with black and white, I'm a bit more familiar with what the results are going to be. I had a quick look to see what Berlin looks like, mostly because I had to check the developing times for D76, which is 9 minutes and 45 seconds, by the way. But I have a general idea of what the results are going to be. So I'm going to be aiming for abstract bridge photos. Now I popped my 55mm onto my Pentax 6.7, but I think I actually want to start with the 200, get in nice and tight. I find the close-up shots are pretty fantastic on this camera, just based on that purple flower that I shot yesterday. I'm also not opposed to the idea of photographing something on my way to each of the bridges in case I see something. Yes, I've only got 10 shots, which leaves me a maximum of 5 shots per bridge, but 5 shots of a single bridge is still a lot. Anyway, let's get started. So it looks like I had some audio trouble here, but basically I spent about a minute explaining how boring and uninspiring the bridge is, that it looks like one of those finger puzzles, and that I apologize for calling everybody else's photos boring, because I've seen lots of photos of the place, but I had never been there before, and everybody takes the exact same photo, and I'm like, why aren't you original? And now I know why, because there's nothing there. It's just the same pattern all the way through, and it's absolutely boring and uninspiring. So after this, I make my way down to Center Street, and that's where I encounter my next problem. So it looks like my usual parking spot is not available. The whole area has these, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, right there. Yeah, roads blocked, no parking for blocks leading up to Center Street. What I'm thinking is looking for a place down at the base of Center Street, of the Center Street Bridge, and shooting it from down there, which is my plan anyway, but I was just going to walk down, take the stairs. So while I wanted to do the majority of the shooting of Center Street Bridge on the north side, I might actually have to do it on the downtown end. I'll probably more likely find parking in Chinatown than I will across on the north end. Okay, I have found a parking spot right by the Center Street Bridge. As you can also see, it is raining a little bit. So it's not raining enough where I'm going to worry about the Pentax, but if it gets any heavier, I might have to bag it. I can't even remember if I brought my rain sleeve with me. I know it seems weird, but I love the way this corner looks. I bet you I can get 2 shots out of that. I suppose I risk getting crapped on around here, but yeah, neat little spot. A little off the beaten path, just above the riverside. And yeah, lots of pigeons living here, so try not to get pooped on. And just like that, I'm done. This little spot here was so cool. I've never been here before. I love the way the light and shadow is. Yeah, I've never been down at this part before because it's off the beaten path. And it took me no time flat to take up my shots. I almost want to come back with a 35mm at some point during this marathon. Yeah, I have to say, that went way better than expected. It's funny, my beard always looks extra compact after I take my bandana off. Man, sometimes 10 shots is not enough. Like, I got there and I was like, man, wow, I could easily fill a 36 roll with what was underneath there. I don't even know why I didn't think before that I could go in behind there. So if you don't know Calgary, you know, most of you won't. The Center Street Bridge actually has a lower bridge, a really narrow 2-lane bridge, one way each way, you know, where cars can go, believe it or not. And it's super narrow. but there's just this whole intricate stone network underneath, and it's really beautiful. I gotta say, the Peace Bridge and modern architecture in general, it's soulless. There's no pizzazz. I did 4 shots at the Peace Bridge. Only like one was a screw-up shot, and then only one of the bridge, and then I think I got 3 shots of other random things that I thought were neat while I was down there. And then the remaining 6 shots were of the Center Street Bridge. So it's going to be really interesting to see this. I should have just done the entire roll of the Center Street Bridge, but I wanted to mix it up a bit. And even though the Peace Bridge has been around for a few years now, I actually hadn't been down there. It's just a walking bridge. That's another difference. It's a walking or a bike bridge. I've said it 100 times already, but it's so boring. Anyway, time to get this roll home and get it developed. Okay guys, I am back home now. I am in the darkroom and I am definitely ready to develop this roll. Alright guys, the film is currently sitting in photo flow, which I'll leave it in there for the next minute or so while I explain what's going on. My main concern here, and this might be totally normal for the film, is that it's dark. I left this test strip in the fixer for, I want to say, almost 10 minutes. It is, to me, really dark. It's definitely not clear like Delta 400, for example, which I've got hanging up on my wall here. Definitely a big difference there. This might be a lomography thing. That's what I'm hoping it is, because yeah, the film's done, and I guess I'll see in a moment here. The last thing that I need to do now is just pour out that photo flow and toss it in the salad spinner. I'm going to try and do the blind reveal thing. Not looking, not looking. Here we go. I won't know until I scan them, but I have to admit, a few of these, and this is probably my fault, look pretty underexposed. They're going to be dark. It's funny, the Peace Bridge shots look the best exposed overall. I knew that the other shots were going to be dark, but I didn't think they were going to be this dark. And, you know, it might look from an artistic standpoint great, but it's definitely an unexpected result. And I'm going to check my light meter to make sure I didn't have something set improper. All right, time to hang these up. Here's a side-by-side comparison. There's Ilford Delta 400, just some negatives that I've been too lazy to sleeve and put away. And Lomo Berlin. I'm not too sure how these are going to turn out, but of course, you don't have to wait. Here are today's highlights. Well, I hope you enjoyed those photos. Definitely not as many highlights as I normally have on any given episode. And straight up front, part of that's my fault. On a couple of the crucial frames, I definitely underexposed. Either I metered the wrong area or I just wasn't thinking about the overall light from the brightest point to the darkest point and averaging it out properly. At some point during the marathon, I wouldn't mind going back to the bridge and trying again. As far as what I think about the film goes, I don't know that I like it. I know Lomography is all about the different results, the harsh looking black and white photos and the off color C41 negatives. But I don't know. I have to say, if I were to compare it to the expired HP5 film I did on day 0, I think the expired HP5 film looked better. And the reason why I'm comparing it to that is because I found that the negatives looked similar. But this is a 2019 formula. I might get some thumbs down for this, but so far the best part of Lomography Berlin is the box. I'm sorry. I got a couple of neat shots from this, but if this isn't my mistake, and I don't think it is, I just want a nice clear emulsion. My scanner will be able to bring back a lot from the thickness of that emulsion, the darkness of it. But if I wanted to take it to my enlarger, that's a whole other issue, and I don't want to be fighting with it. So those are my thoughts on that. Not my favorite. I want to say that I love every film, but I would just be lying to you. So, and not only that, not only did I not like the image quality, but the film was incredibly curly. And it was curly loading it onto the spool, and it was curly while trying to scan it. And you can see from my shot here with the light table that it's got a hefty curl to it, and it makes it hard to deal with. I also found that there was some fogging on the sides of some frames, and I mean, what that's from, I can't be certain. Maybe it was from holding it up to the light when I said time to develop the film. Maybe it was there the whole time. I'm not really sure. It's not from my camera. My 6.7, I did slide film yesterday, had no issues. So yeah, a little disappointing. I don't think I'll shoot with it again. And I've got a couple other Lomography films that I may or may not try during this marathon. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Be sure and let me know what you think of Lomography film in the comments. And until tomorrow, stay classic. A ton went wrong. If these photos are at all salvageable, I will be ecstatic. Enough chit chat though, let's get this film loaded. Okay guys, I am back home now. I am in the darkroom and I am definitely ready to develop different weird color results and rough looking black and whites and off colored color photos. There goes my light. What do you think of Lomography film? But yeah, those are my thoughts. Be sure and let me know what you think of Lomography film.